Over here we have a 2009 Volkswagen Touareg with a TDI in it. And there's the fuel filter. That is one expensive fuel filter, that's all I got to say. Not hard to change, but I'm going to show you how to do it because there is a complex prime procedure. And let's get started. Okay, here we have a T30. There's 4 of them. These may be under a little bit of pressure, so a little bit of fluid might leak out of it. Usually not. It ain't that big of a deal if it does, but you want some shop towels to catch it in case it does. They put a little groove in here, nice and convenient for you to pry against to open that up. Oh man, that was a hard fuel filter to change. Take your seal out. I'm going to tie this up out of the way. This is such a nicely designed filter. It's got a handle for you. You grab a hold and pull up gently. That hurts my hand, so I'm going to grab it with a shop towel. And of course the handle breaks. In the interest of being thorough, we're going to suck all that out and clean out the bottom of it. Probably not 100% necessary. Seal. You want to take and lubricate the seals with a little bit of diesel fuel. By the way, we are using a MAN filter here. That is the original equipment supplier for filters for Volkswagen. So we know it's a good quality filter. I'll put this seal on here also. We want to lubricate it as well so it goes in easily as it's installed. Okay, there's various different methods to prime this. Some better than others, some politically correct, some politically incorrect. I think if you're a do-it-yourselfer, a good thing to do might just be to take a funnel, have a helper hold it, and pour some diesel fuel directly in there to fill that up so that it isn't empty. You do not want to run the high-pressure fuel pump empty at any time. We worry about these high-pressure fuel pumps failing, and when they fail, they shed metal throughout the system. It's a very expensive repair. So you don't want to run them without diesel fuel in it. So if you start this and it dies because there's no fuel in it, that's because the fuel pump is empty and it is running without the lubrication of the diesel fuel. So that would be one method. Another method would be to use vacuum on one of these hoses, and you just have to figure out which hose is the supply and which is the return, and then draw vacuum on it, and it'll pull fuel from the tank in order to do it. They also have this bung here. You can use the pump in the tank to prime the fuel filter by just removing this, turning the key on a few times. When fuel shoots out of it, then you know the fuel filter's primed. And then of course there is the VAGCOM method, which turns on the fuel pump. That's all fine and dandy, but if you don't have any method for getting the air out, then you're still going to have an air pocket in there that's going to cause problems. I didn't have it seated all the way. One thing I like to do to get these things together is to grab them with a pair of vice grips. I'm going to do it with control so that you're not bending the part. I don't like pulling it down with the bolts, but sometimes it is necessary. And you understand what you're doing is squeezing that seal down inside there, and you don't want to damage it. Okay, center bolt out, and that should enable us to bleed most of the air out of it. If your oil filter kit has a washer in it, that's the sealing washer for that bolt. But you can see there's a sealing washer on there. I'll take that over to the workbench and get that off to replace it. Cortland, can you give me a hand?
Yeah.
Can you get in and just turn the key on? I may have forgotten to say during all this that this is the 3-liter V6 Tdi. Okay, in order to prime the fuel system with VAGCOM, you go into the engine computer and you go to basic settings here and type in 35. And right here it gives you the option of turning it on and off. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I'm using a screen recorder today, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear the fuel pump running. It runs for quite a while. It'll show right here that it's running by saying pump on or something like that. And it's an excellent time to get out and double check for leaks at the fuel filter. Make sure that the seal isn't leaking or the hoses or anything like that, or the little plug that you got the air out of the system. I think it's very important to get the air out of the system. Just doing this alone doesn't really do a good job. If you if you leave all that air in there, the fuel pump can run all at once. It just compresses the air, and then the air uncompresses. Then you go and start the vehicle. It runs for a little while. It might die because of all that air in there, or it might just, the fuel might be aerated a bit, and so the high pressure fuel pump might suffer a little bit of just minor minuscule damage due to not having 100% fuel charge in there. I'm going to turn this on, then I'm going to run out and check the fuel filter for leaks. And I can hear it running. It says pump on right there. And it is nice and dry and nothing's running out. We're probably going to run this prime procedure one more time on here after this one finishes. But if you learned anything from this video, click like and subscribe. Ask any questions down in the comments. Try to answer all the questions that I can. And if you want to financially contribute to the continued production of these videos, find the donate icon at my website at www.kansascitytdi.com.